This is Sky News Today with Wilfred Frost. It's 10 o'clock. Your headlines. Climate climb down. Labour to scrap a plan to spend £28 billion per year on green pledges, despite this insistence just a month ago. If it costs £28 billion, you'll still spend.
Are you moving back on your goal? No, we're not. Clean power by 2030.
She ever wanted was a safe home, a heartfelt plea from a friend of the woman hurt in the South London chemical attack. The holiday resort plot to kidnap a child hatched a week before Madeleine McCann disappeared in Portugal. Weather warnings in place, parts of the UK on alert with predictions of heavy snowfall in northern England and Wales. Senior commander killed. Anger against America on the streets of Baghdad after a US drone kills a member of an Iran-backed militia group. And the third eruption in 3 months. Lava pours once again, sparking fresh concern about a volcano in Iceland. A very good morning to you. Well, after weeks of uncertainty, Labour is to drop its big promise to spend £28 billion per year on green pledges. It means the party's flagship bid to tackle environmental concerns is being dramatically scaled back ahead of the next general election later this year. Well, coming up, we'll get reaction from Westminster and speak to our science and technology editor. But first, a reminder of the scale of this pledge. I spoke to the Labour leader, Sir Keir Starmer, just a month ago, who vowed then to stick to the plan. You made it a pledge, and back in the middle of last year, when the government relaxed some of its net zero targets, you said the Prime Minister was being irresponsible with our future. Do you at least withdraw the accusation of irresponsibility to the government and acknowledge that if not, you're being irresponsible too?
No, I don't, because the government is trying to pretend that the date on which an incoming Labour government signs a particular cheque is what matters. What matters is clean power by 2030, keeping to those targets. I'm not prepared to move that date. So people keep saying to me, are you...
And if it costs £28 billion, you'll still spend
Are you moving back on your goal? No, we're not. Clean power by 2030. But look, it's absolutely clear to me that the Tories are trying to sort of weaponise this issue, the 28 billion, etc. This is a fight I want to have. If we can have a fight going into the election between an incoming Labour government that wants to invest in the future, long-term strategy that will lower our bills and give us energy independence, versus stagnation, more of the same under this government, if they want that fight on borrow to invest, I'm absolutely up for that fight, because I want to go to the British public and say we've had 14 years of sticking plaster politics where they haven't done any long-term thinking and you're paying the price. I would do the hard yards of the long-term thinking. I'll borrow to invest and your bills will go down. If they want that fight...
Well, we're joined now by our political correspondent Mari Aurora and our science and technology editor Tom Clark. Mari, to you first. There's so many parts in just that 90-second clip that one could pick up on, and many other clips of that ilk with him and Rachel Reeves over recent weeks or months. Perhaps most notably there is he said the Tories, if they try and weaponise this, it's a fight I welcome. Well, they have weaponised it. They've done so successfully, and he's not welcoming the fight. He's backing down.
Exactly, you're totally right, Wilfred, and that's the issue, is that actually this has been quite a messy U-turn for the Labour Party, quite to an extent unnecessarily so. So the Labour Party's excuse for this U-turn is realistically going to be that they don't know what they're inheriting fiscally, they don't know what kind of economic picture they're going to have if they were to come to power. We still don't know if they're going to win the election. That's not a given at all. But nonetheless, that would be their reason. We know that they're trying to finalise their policy for their manifesto by the end of this week. And therefore, that will be the excuse, is that they need to get a serious, credible plan, and they need to make sure that everything can be fully funded and fully costed. But as you say, Wilf, now, last week, Rachel Reeves spoke to Beth Rigby, our political editor, and 10 times she refused to answer whether she was sticking by this policy and by that £28 billion figure. She just continued to say we need to make sure it's costed, we need to stick to our fiscal rules. But this isn't an issue now, because there's been reporting about rifts between Rachel Reeves and Keir Starmer, and the fact that they weren't really seeing eye to eye on this policy fully, and their rhetoric was slightly different depending on which one of them you spoke to. But also, The Tories, as you say, are very successfully weaponising this at the moment because again and again, Keir Starmer is caught out in U-turns. He is caught out what they would see as flip-flopping. So the Tories are now saying that actually this is going to be evidence that taxes are going to go up if the Labour Party can't fund and cost their policies effectively. And they're essentially trying to say that the Labour Party are no longer fiscally credible. But it's not just the Tories that are criticising them. I'm going to read you a statement from Greenpeace. They've been coming out this morning furious about the news. So they say, without this level of serious investment, Starmer risks leaving the door wide open for the EU, the US and China to overtake us in the global green tech race. This is a vision worth fighting for, not retreating from, or voters will start wondering what the Labour Party actually stands for. We've also heard criticism from the Unite Union General Secretary Sharon Graham saying it's going to leave us behind globally, other nations. And also the Scottish leader Humza Yousaf has said that it's a betrayal of Scotland's renewable industry. So I think this U-turn really tells you that actually the Labour Party is less concerned about seeing like they're betraying green credentials, and their biggest fear is not being seen as being economically credible.
Mari, stay with us because I want to continue this discussion. But first, Tom, I want to bring Tom Clark in, our science editor. I mean, it'll still be interesting to see if he keeps the pledge to have green energy by 2030 and whether they somehow come up with a new number of how to reach it. We'll get the details to come. But how significant was that pledge when it was made, and how critical is it for the UK to ultimately meet some of the legally binding commitments that we've made on the international stage?
Yeah, well, that's what makes a lot of these numbers being thrown around in the run-up, let's not remember, to an election at some point this year, kind of seem a bit silly, because this is money that's going to have to be spent anyway. Whoever's in government, we have got legally binding commitments to meet net zero by 2050. We've got very tough targets coming up around 2030, 2035 that anybody's going to struggle to do. By the best estimates, it's going to cost about 50 to 70 billion pounds a year to get to net zero by 2050 to get to net zero. So we need to spend a lot of money. The question is, how we're going to do it. So the damage, the potential risk here, of course, is what Greenpeace sort of identified in that statement. The Americans through their Inflation Reduction Act and the EU through their net zero ambitions, which were actually scaled up quite a bit in recent weeks, look like they could well overtake us in this. That means investment and jobs. The industry who's building these green energy investments and are standing by to decarbonise our homes with things like heat pumps and insulation, they've got billions they want to invest, and they want clear signals from government. They haven't been getting it from the Conservatives recently, because Rishi Sunak has been quite effectively weaponising or certainly trying to generate some sort of culture war around the net zero issue. And you can see how that's now paid dividends in terms of forcing Labour into a U-turn over this. Mixed messages from them. Now we've got a flip-flop from Labour. Doesn't send reassuring signals. The number isn't so important. Given that, in a way, politically, the number's not that important. That money's down to be spent anyway. What strong signals do we get, political signals, in terms of whether Britain's a good place to invest in renewables and clean energy? That's what we're going to have to watch for now. Will Keir Starmer remain committed to that, green power sector by 2030? That would be a very significant signal. And the money probably doesn't matter so much to those who are investing. They just want to see political confidence in this issue. But also, what a day to pull a U-turn. There's no good day to pull a political U-turn, but this is the day. Remember when we got news that for the first time in recorded history, the temperature of the planet on average has been 1.5 degrees over pre-industrial levels for 12 consecutive months, and our ocean temperatures are setting a new record every single day and have been doing so for 8 months. So big news on the climate. Not a great day for a U-turn around green energy.
On that note, Mari, back to the policy. I mean, one wonders whether if they try and keep part of it, green energy by 2030, but not the cost aspect, whether they'll give the story more legs and it'll go on for longer. But either way, clearly this might mean they lose some votes to the Green Party or anybody else that pledges more clearly on the environment. But they're making a calculation here, which is that is a smaller loss of voters than they were going to lose or potentially lose for people that want to see fiscal responsibility. And I just wonder whether, even if this is a tough day for Labour, for Keir Starmer, for Rachel Reeves, if we're going to push them on the fact that they're abandoning principles and making U-turns, whether it's actually a tougher day for the Conservatives on an issue that they wanted to keep hitting Labour on for many weeks and months to come.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I think you're absolutely right that there has been a very political calculation on this. And I think you're right to say that evidently they've decided that it is safer and potentially better for them electorally to do this now and to maybe cheese off some people who might maybe sway over to the Greens, but that might not necessarily be the kind of massive threat that we might worry about in a general election in terms of losing or winning seats rather than losing or winning votes. Let's remember, it's not about votes, it's about seats. But interestingly, I think also talking about the fact that the Conservatives are trying to really weaponise this, and they have been trying to weaponise this for a long time. I mean, weeks, if not months, the amount of times we as political journalists hear this from Conservatives. Oh, what about the 28 billion? What about the 28 billion? Because it was seen as a very kind of sore spot for the Labour Party. To an extent, it might take the sting out of that, but the Conservatives will be hoping that the U-turn is indicative of weakness in the Labour Party and in the decision-making or the conviction of Keir Starmer's decision-making ability. And they'll hope that that will open him up to more vulnerabilities.
Mari, Tom, thank you both so much for that. Much more to come on that topic throughout the day. We're going to be joined a little bit later by Barry Gardiner, Labour MP, who probably will criticise his party's leadership for this U-turn. Now, close friends of the woman who was attacked with a chemical substance in South London last week have told how the victim only ever wanted a safe home for her family. They thanked the community for their bravery and kindness as police today continue to search for the suspect. Sky correspondent Shimon from Nepal joins us now with an update on this. A bit of background, Shimon, on the victim, but the search goes on for the suspect.
That's right. We're now 8 days after the incident took place last Wednesday evening. We've heard lots of detail about the police's main suspect, Abdul Azidi. We've heard lots about his background and the fact that he's currently suffering with injuries, which, if not treated, could potentially be fatal. But in this 8-day manhunt, there's not much been known about that 31-year-old victim and her 2 children. All we can confirm so far is that 31-year-old woman is still in hospital. She is sedated and she now has life-changing injuries. She could potentially lose the sight in her right eye. But today, for the first time, we're now hearing from her close friends who are trying to raise money for her recovery. We have a statement which I can read to you now. It says, "Our friend is first and foremost a devoted, loving mother. Her children are her life. She is generous to a fault and a wonderful cook and host. It is difficult to imagine now how they will ever recover, and all we want is for them to be able to rebuild their lives. We cannot put into words how grateful we are to the heroic neighbours of Lesser Avenue. They risked their own lives to save them, and we can only imagine how distressing the attack was for them too. They are angels in our eyes." Now, the statement goes on to thank those neighbours at Lesser Avenue for stepping in. Of course, we heard, didn't we, around the time of the attack, that some of those neighbours also ended up in hospital because of injuries too. It's the first time we're hearing from close family and friends who are trying to raise money for the victim. So far, over £6,000 has already been raised.
Mom, thanks so much. A British expat has told Sky News that a plot to kidnap a child was being hatched in the Portuguese holiday resort of Praia da Luz a week before Madeleine McCann went missing. Ken Ralphs says a man whose name we're not revealing for legal reasons confided in him about a plan allegedly orchestrated by prime suspect Christian B, who denies any involvement in Madeleine's disappearance. Our crime correspondent Martin Brunt has this report.
The TP was around in here somewhere.
We're in a remote part of the Algarve, 20 miles from Praia da Luz. It's 17 years since Ken Ralphs visited the hidden tent where his friend lived.
It's private property now, it's owned by somebody.
It was the night his friend, who can't be named for legal reasons, told him about a plot to abduct a child.
We had a few beers, and then obviously during the early hours of the morning, started to cry. Well, then he confessed to me he was getting involved with Christian to take a child from Pride of Luz from a rich family.
The Christian they were talking about, he said, was a German drifter and a man they both knew in the nomadic community. Christian B, as he's known, is the main suspect in the disappearance of Madeleine McCann, but he's not been charged over it.
These are my shoes.
I said, it's ridiculous, don't do this. What are you getting involved with people like this for? You can't kidnap a child and ask for a ransom, you'll end up going to jail. He said, it's not about a ransom, it's about selling the child to a German couple who couldn't have children.
A week later, Madeleine vanished. Mr. Ralphs was on a trip to England when he heard the news.
Some more breaking news for you this morning. We're just hearing that a search is underway for a 3-year-old British girl who's gone missing in the Algarve area of Portugal.
Mr. Ralphs says he contacted police in Cumbria.
They just said, to the police, look, you need to... Here's the secret map of how you get to this point here. And I said, that must be sent immediately to Portugal.
Mr. Ralphs put his evidence into a detailed statement and on his return to Portugal spoke to local police.
They said, have you made your statement to the police? I said, yeah. They said, well, don't worry, go home. If they need to contact you, they will. And of course, for endless years, nobody did contact me.
When Christian B was revealed as a suspect 4 years ago, Mr. Ralphs contacted police again.
You told the UK police in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
You told them again in 2020.
Yeah, I've sent my statement to the German prosecution.
And then what happened?
And then they've just sent it straight back to Scotland Yard.
So what's happened to...
They found him.
And did he back up your story?
Well, he said he doesn't know us. I have 12 independent witnesses that can prove he's lying.
It's difficult to know where Ken Ralph's evidence fits into the Madeleine McCann case. He certainly had several exchanges with Scotland Yard investigators, and the idea that there was a plan to steal a child is backed up by a friend of the suspect. Mikhail Tucher, once a close pal of Christian B, has said he talked about selling children to make money. And Scotland Yard detectives have always believed that whatever her ultimate fate, Madeleine was abducted in a carefully planned operation. Martin Brunt, Sky News, Portugal.
The Met Office has said there could be up to 25 centimetres of snow in parts of the UK today. 2 amber weather warnings have been issued for parts of Northern England and North Wales, with multiple yellow warnings in force across all 4 home nations. Well, the first amber warning came into effect at 8 o'clock this morning, with snow and ice expected to cause disruption across North Wales and northwest Shropshire until 3 p.m. And from noon, the Peak District and South Pennines will also have an amber warning for snow in place until 6 p.m. Parts of the North, the Midlands, Northern Ireland and Scotland are all under yellow warnings for snow from today and into tomorrow. Meanwhile, spells of heavy rain continue to hit southern England and South Wales, which could also affect travel. Well, our chief North of England correspondent, Greg Milam, joins us now from Coed Poeth in North Wales. Greg, well, it looks pretty chilly and the snow's already there.
Yeah, it's arrived. It's been a real mix during the morning, actually. I think when people woke up here, first thing they expected a lot more snow, a lot of sleet, a lot of rain, but the snow for the last hour or so has been pretty consistent, and through the morning it will be before it clears away. We're pretty high here in Coed Poeth. It's in that amber warning that was put out yesterday, one of 2, but from 8 a.m. when it took effect until about 3 this afternoon, it will be in effect here. And then a second one in the Peak District and the Pennines will take effect from lunchtime through the afternoon. So it's moving east. And this complexity of this warmer air moving up from the south and hitting the cold air in the north has made it a bit unpredictable, actually, for the forecasters and locals to work out where the snow would hit and where it would be the worst. But you can see it's got pretty thick here now. There's been a little bit of disruption locally. They took the decision in Flintshire in Wales yesterday to close all of the schools in that county ahead of what was coming today. In Powys, they cancelled the school transport. In Wrexham, they've closed some schools as well in anticipation of what will be coming. Some yellow warnings will remain in effect for the rest of the day, actually into to tomorrow morning. but it's that unpredictability, I think, that the forecasters were warning about, that it wasn't clear where and when the snow would be at the heaviest. And certainly in some of these higher villages, it certainly is starting to have an impact on the roads and some of those more rural areas.
Greg Milam, as always, thanks so much. A senior commander of an Iran-backed militia group has been killed in a US drone attack on the streets of the Iraqi capital. The strike was in response to the deaths of 3 American service personnel at a US base in Jordan last month. Well, our special correspondent Alex Crawford is in Baghdad for us this morning and sent this report.
The US drone attack in the middle of a busy civilian street in East Baghdad was called a clear-cut assassination by Iraq's army chief. Inside the vehicle was a high-ranking commander of one of Iraq's most powerful pro-Iran armed groups, Kataib Hezbollah. This killing was carried out, the head of the army said, in a manner which disregarded civilian lives and international laws. An angry crowd immediately gathered, chanting anti-American slogans, and there were immediate calls for revenge and retaliation, not just here in Iraq, but across the region, from militant Iranian proxies in Syria, Yemen, Lebanon and Bahrain. No to Israel, no to US, they shouted, then turned on us, believing us to be American. The crowd quickly moved off to the Green Zone in the capital, home to several diplomatic missions, including the US and UK.
A lot of tension, the crowd growing larger and larger. There are calls saying death to America, demands for revenge, a lot of tension, and this attack is not going to quell those tensions which have been rising over the past few days.
Kataib Hezbollah is one of the armed groups blamed for attacks against American forces in Iraq and Syria, nearly 200 since the Gaza bombardment, including the deaths of 3 US soldiers in Jordan last month. But the spillover of violence on Iraqi soil has provoked angry condemnations.
We don't want Iraq to be an arena for other people's conflict or settling scores on Iraqi soil.
And there are dire signs of even more escalation to come. This from another pro-Iran armed unit, which the US has designated a terrorist group.
I am very clear. Any place used to attack Iraqi people and Iraqi land is considered an enemy. Any hostile action from these American bases spread across the region will get a response from us.
Iraqis have a strong resentment towards the few thousand American troops still in the country as part of the fight against the Islamic State. And this latest attack has already led to the strongest call so far for the US troops to pull out of the country altogether. Alex Crawford, Sky News, Baghdad.
Lots more still to come here on Sky News today. Prince William says thank you for the support following his father's cancer diagnosis as the Queen prepares to make a public appearance later today. We'll speak to Rhiannon Mills next. Plus, Pakistan goes to the polls amid a wave of violence. We'll have that story. And a volcano erupts for the 3rd time in 3 months in Iceland. Welcome back. Prince William has spoken publicly for the first time since the news of his father's cancer diagnosis.
I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you also for the kind messages of support for Catherine and for my father, especially in recent days. It means a great deal to us all. It's fair to say the past few weeks have had a rather medical focus, so I thought I'd come to an air ambulance function to get away from it all.
Well, our royal correspondent Rhianna Mills joins us now. And Rhianna, clearly all sorts of members of the royal family are back to work, most notably, of course, the Prince of Wales, as we just said yesterday. Talk us through the significance of that and how long that's likely to continue with the King not being seen, and whether that for the family will be an attempt to draw a line under the amount of transparency they've given us, which I still think is pretty significant days after the diagnosis, or whether they will have to come back to the table at some point in the weeks ahead and give us a bit more detail.
Do you know what? It's an interesting question, and I think it actually ties in quite well with what Prince William had to say last night, because some would say, well, it was quite light on detail and it was quite light in tone as well, him making that joke about it being a very medically focused few weeks and the air ambulance event maybe not being the best place to escape more medical matters. But I think that sort of ties in with the tone that the palace have wanted to strike with it, which is, look, we've given you the information that the King has been diagnosed with cancer, but we don't want to go any further when it comes to give you any more details at the moment. And we also don't want to cause any unnecessary panic. So I think if Prince William last night had been a bit more doom and gloom, a bit more down, then maybe the speculation would have continued about, well, both with the King and with his wife Kate, how are they doing? Of course, they're never going to be able to stop that chatter completely, but the fact that he went to an event last night for the air ambulance, he was surrounded by his friends. Of course, he was an air ambulance pilot for East Anglia, but we know that he's done a lot to support the London Air Ambulance as well. And of course, there was that bit of Hollywood stardust as well with Tom Cruise, and I'm told that there was some really good banter between the two of them. So they were keeping it light in what has been undoubtedly a very difficult week for Prince William, difficult couple of weeks with both his father and his wife unwell. But also I think you can't forget that now the pressure is on Prince William. Yes, we keep being told that the King is still carrying out those important constitutional matters. But this wasn't just the first time that Prince William had said anything about this. It was also the first time that any senior royal had said anything. And actually it reminded me of all those times where the now King used to have to step in for the then Queen, his mother, when she was unable to appear in public to deliver those important messages on behalf of the royal family.
Rhianna, I've got an important follow-up question, but just whilst we showed those pictures, I don't know if we can bring them up again. You said the stardust. I've seen the pictures in all the papers with Tom Cruise. I think sitting on his left was Mikel Arteta, which is, in my book, is even a greater star. But anyway, that's good to see. I hope they were discussing possible lineups and things like that. Anyway, so back to my important question. Two of my absolute heroes, very lucky there to be sitting between them. Important question though is, this is, whatever the finer details of this, anybody getting a diagnosis of this ilk is terrifying and a massive blow. And the ongoing statements they are giving us, whether it's public showing like the Prince of Wales last night, or the brief statements we got of the mood that the King is in at Sandringham, it's really quite commendable. I mean, he's really trying to take this on with as much positivity as possible.
Yeah, and that is the key phrase that you keep hearing time and time again when you speak to anybody at the palace. They are trying to stay as positive as possible, as upbeat as possible. But we were talking about it the other day, weren't we? That difficult balancing act now between feeding that media interest and the media frenzy that has built around this. They are the most famous family in the world, I would say, and it was amazing to see all of the TV crews from around the world, again outside of Buckingham Palace. We of course did unexpectedly see the King in that car as he was being driven into Buckingham Palace to then fly off to Sandringham. But I think the really interesting thing for me over the next few weeks is going to be how much we see of him. How do the palace keep trying to deliver that message that he is still functioning as monarch, that he's still carrying out that work? And it sort of reminded me of when the Queen Elizabeth, when it was COVID, she was very much kind of kept within that bubble, wasn't she, at Windsor Castle? But we were still able to see that she was working because it was important to see that symbol of stability during those difficult times. So we saw her doing things like Zoom engagements. We had photographs of her on the telephone to Boris Johnson. We had various other ways, photographs of her doing red boxes, things like that. So whether or not we're going to see that with the King, we wait and see. But it's important that public messaging now, so they try and keep control of that speculation, if that is at all possible.
Rhiannon, as always, thanks so much. Rhiannon Mills there for us. We have some breaking news. I want to bring it to you relating to that attack and the suspect, Abdul Azidi. Of course, the attack that happened in Clapham last week with a corrosive substance. Well, armed police have executed 2 warrants in Newcastle in the early hours this morning at addresses associated with the suspect Abdul Azidi, including his place of work, but no arrests have been made. That statement coming from the Metropolitan Police. And the manhunt, of course, does continue, it seems. We're going to have a quick look at the weather now.
Warm memories wherever you go. The weather. Sponsored by Qatar Airways.
Rain spreading northwards today will turn increasingly to sleet and snow over central parts. The Met Office have issued rain, snow and ice warnings with disruption likely. Amber warnings for snow and ice cover parts of North Wales and northern England. Heavy rain will edge further north this afternoon, bringing more snow to central parts, especially the hills. A covering of snow is possible at low levels, with perhaps 25 centimetres above 300 metres, where drifting is likely in the strong wind.
The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
You're watching Sky News Today. Up next, we'll tell you which nations are leading calls to ban Israel from some of world football's tournaments. That's next.
Skull Shaver, the power of
SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hey, Charlie. You're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy. You stressed out. Tired? Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy. JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenating, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hey, Charlie. You're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy. You stressed out. Tired? Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy. JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenated, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agent, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
The best radio show.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Smile though your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and The Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio UK. Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
This is Starr Radio
your day
UK.
with Starr Radio. Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
Welcome.
Love for you runs deep. All of you makes my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade, Jesus, and that's what makes you great. You hold the world in your hands, the hand that made me who I am.
Okay, let me say massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you. Wherever you might be on planet Earth and those of you on other planets as well, we want to salute each and every one of you and welcome you to the Starr Radio UK Thursday edition of the morning show. Today is the 8th day of the second month, that is February 2024, with the time now exactly at 10:49 from the House of London. I am Archie, and from now till 12:30, I'm going to bring you everything now you need to know, from archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar.
This is the morning show with Archie.
So you go one step, do me a massive favor, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones, and invite them to like our pages as well. This is Starr Radio UK. Let me say good morning to my able producer, Mr. Francis Gaye. Olayomi Koiki, good morning to you. Bishop Adeshina, good morning. Olakunle, good morning. Pastor Momo, good morning. Pastor Emmanuel Chidi, man of God, I hope you are feeling much better now. We salute you. We hope you are doing good.
All of you makes my heart.
And let me take this opportunity to also say good morning to Shamsuddin, Kofi Ali, good morning to you. My brother Kojodi, good morning. Felix, I hope you are doing very, very well and you are not snowed in. But as I will say once again, all protocol observed. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, with the time now 10:50. For those of you who have tuned in for the first time to listen to us on the morning show, this is how the program is going to be. I'm going to bring you the quote for the day, the weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel updates. Then after that, we'll be looking at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. It's known as Global Trotting. After which we bring you everything that you need to know pertaining to all the stories, the details of them. At 12 o'clock, the lines are open for you to add your voice to the discussions, and exactly at 12:30, the curtains are brought down for the end of the program. So in Nigeria, that's what's going to happen today. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Stay tuned.
God Almighty, all of you makes my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade, Jesus, and that's what makes you great.
The quote for the day says, do not wait for opportunity to come before you start preparing. It is usually too late to do so. So you prepare yourself, and when that opportunity comes, you are able to meet it head on. I mean, do something about it, right? Okay. So that is just by way of the quote for the day. Now moving on straight to the okay, just bear with me. Okay, let's move on to the weather. Let's move on to the weather front, and let's see what the weather has got in store for us.
Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord.
Okay, let's take a quick break and I'll be with you. Stay tuned.
All of you makes my heart beat. You make a dawn fade, and that's what makes you great.
You are God. You will never change. You remain the same till the end. Till the end. You are God.
One who took my pain, took away my shame. Lord, you reign.
That's why forever God you reign. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. Greatly to be praised. Great are you, Lord.
Okay, my apologies for that. Well, the mouse got frozen, and therefore my producer needed to sort it out for me, and that was why.
God Almighty, I worship.
Okay, so for the weather for today, we're going to be seeing a heavy rain and moderate breeze. Temperature is going to be 10 degrees, 12 degrees. The lower is going to be 10 degrees. UV level is going to be low, and pollution is going to be low as well. Sunset 17:02 and sunrise for tomorrow morning 07:28 hours. This is Starr Radio UK. Now moving on straight to the travel update as well. What has the travels got for you this morning? Well, when it comes to the underground this morning, yes, I can tell you that the Central Line has got minor delays. Jubilee Line, part suspension. Elizabeth Line, minor delays. Metropolitan, minor delays. And Piccadilly Line, minor delays as well. That aside, all the others are running a good service. London Overground, DLR, and London Tramlink, good service there.
What makes you great?
Now, when it comes to the major roads in London, we've got A4 and Central London Red Routes running a serious delays, having a serious delays, and then South Circular A205 is also having a serious delays there as well. So check before you leave.
Same goal now, yes.
The River Bus is running a good service, and then we have the London Cable Car running a good service there as well.
Great.
This is all coming your way from Star Radio UK. And when it comes to the national rail, cross country, Great Western Railway and Transport for Wales have got severe delays. That aside, Great Northern, ScotRail, Southeastern Railways have also got minor delays. The others are running a good service. And that's how I would say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today. But you know what? Continue to keep those eyes where? On the road.
Call you great, great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. Great is to be praised. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. This I'll celebrate.
This is Starr Radio, UK.
All of you makes my heart beat. You make a dark fade, and that's what makes you great.
You are God. You will never change. You remain the same till the end. Till the end. You are God.
One who took
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Welcome back to the program Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to exactly 2 minutes to 11, and it's time for the global protein. So what have I got for you? What have I got for you? Yes. So on the stories that is making the rounds this morning, when it comes to Nigeria, EFCC invites school proprietors demanding payments in dollars. It's quite an interesting one there, isn't it? And then AFCON former NDDC director Ojogbo dies watching Nigeria South Africa match. Why? Did he have a heart attack or heart failure? Okay, a cardiac arrest. Now reps claim 4 banks have $5 billion excess forex to probe non-compliance to CBN's directive. And then Bodija explosion. 3 persons of interest identified to be prosecuted. Nigeria's e-payment transaction rose to 600 trillion naira in 2023. And no empirical evidence justifies NAFDAC's ban on sachet alcoholic beverage. That is a good one. Well, I did talk about that the other time. And then green economy. Shatima inaugurates presidential committee on $2.5 billion carbon credit market. Some other stories making the rounds there as well. CBN, FAA, and relocation. Lagos is not the right place. Indumi insists. Well, we're talking more about all the government approval delays. Dangote refinery fuel. And then AFCON, Enugu residents celebrate Super Eagles win over Bafana. And the federal government distributes farm inputs to 243 Yobe farmers. Now, that would be good to distribute it to them. But are they getting the necessary protection when they go on their farms? That is the question that is making the rounds on the lips of most people, or people are asking this morning. But wherever you are, don't you go away. Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. In other parts of Africa as well, a man has been accused of killing his girlfriend in Massachusetts, escaped from police custody in Kenya. And the officers agreed to his request and removed the prisoner from their cells and took him to an office, leaving them there. After a short while, they came and the man has bolted. Zimbabwe abolishes inherited colonial death penalty. The Zimbabwean government decided on Tuesday to abolish the death penalty after months of debate in parliament, opting instead to imposing longer sentences. And then, election delay setback for Senegal's democracy. Analysts are asking. And 1 dead and 2 wounded in Kenya hyena attack. Senegalese frustrated as parliament backs the president's move to postpone the elections as well. Civilians flee as M23 rebels threaten to take sick Goma cities, and UNHCR chief visits displaced families in Sudan amid escalating conflicts there as well. It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. In Ghana as well, the Ghana Education Service silence on Ebri girl student's death, worrying. Africa Edu Watch, the boss is saying. And Judge Kwesi's petition to GLC against Attorney General dismissed. DPP to court. The disciplinary committee of the General Legal Council has dismissed a petition filed by a member of parliament for saying not James Judge Kwesi against Attorney General Godfrey Yeboah Dame. And then minority slams Efijuase Asokore MP over his double standards on emissions levy. Now, yesterday I did talk about it, or the day before yesterday. Emissions levy, really? You think people are ready for that? Okay. A 66-year-old farmer at Akim Asubua near Akimoda in the eastern region has asked for forgiveness from the family of a 36-year-old aeronautic engineer whom he mistakenly shot and killed. Well, we're going to be telling you more about those stories making their round there. In other stories as well, Akufo-Addo, Ken Ofori-Atta, and Gabi missing from Bawumia lecture. Is it that they are backing off their support for him? Or what is going on exactly? Plan to restore names of universities suicidal, Bekubakun warns. And then Professor Kobe Mensah react to Bawumia's promise to cancel e-levy emission. Well, interesting. All right, in other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world as well, we have world breaches 1.5 C warming threshold for full year. The last 12 months were the hottest on record, temporarily sending the world past a deeply symbolic mark. And in other stories as well, Pakistan cuts mobile internet as country votes. Millions are voting in a new government amid soaring inflation, rising violence, and rigging claims. And Putin challenger barred from Russian election. Russian Election Commission has rejected anti-war challenger Boris Nadezhdin as a presidential candidate. Of course, you know that. Yeah. Okay. A volcano spews lava in New Iceland eruption. Now, guarding the Middle East most dangerous border, clashes between Israel and Hezbollah are intensifying as the risk of a wider regional conflict grows. Now, adult dies in Ireland after contracting measles. Wow, something that we've not heard of, but an adult has been killed by measles. Well, unless, of course, there were some other underlying health issues that might have actually expedited the person's death. But whatever it is, I'm going to be bringing you more on that front wherever you are. This is Starr Radio UK. This is the Thursday edition of the morning show. China are fury as Messi skips Hong Kong match. Players in Japan. The superstar sat out a Hong Kong match just days before sparking anger and conspiracy theorist. Why? Is it that he supports Hong Kong and therefore I'm not going to play against them so that China will win? Well. Now, Labour ditches 28 billion green investment pledge. U-turn on the policy is set to be announced on Thursday following confusion over the party's position. A Madeleine McCann suspect to stay silent in German rape trial. Convicted sex offender Christian Bruckner is due in court next week, accused of 5 offenses. Okay? Okay, for the men, those of you who are not using time, okay, and those of us, we need to now go and get some. A study suggests a link, but more research is needed to prove that the drugs benefit the brain. Men on Viagra may reduce Alzheimer's risk. Oh boy. Quite an interesting one, isn't it? Now, North Tyneside raids over Clapham suspect search the week-long police hunt for Abdul Shakar Zedi came after a mother and her 2 girls were hurt. In other stories as well, bagpipes allowed inside Euro 2024 stadiums, and then sex abuser used vapes to groom 14-year-old girl, and schools shut as snow falls across parts of the UK. These are stories that is making the rounds this morning. Wherever you are, don't you go away. I'm going to bring you some lovely tune, and then after that, I will bring you everything that you got to know or you want to know, the details of all the stories that we are looking at this morning. So stay tuned. Don't touch the dial. Starr Radio UK, writing names of talkatives. Enjoy.
It's like my favorite song on this album, y'all. It's no secret in our world, people like to talk the things they know and the ones they don't. They will spread lies and rumors just to be known. So why are you wasting your time like this, hearing those things that break your heart? Give no attention, give no thought, 'cause people talk, but they'll never help you walk. So whenever they speak, look up and you will see a broken pencil and a sheet, and tell them, I'm writing names of talkatives. Yeah.
All of this noise you're making on me. Teacher will get you when he comes. I have a race.
No time to waste.
No time to waste.
I'm writing names of talkatives.
I'm writing names of talkatives.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
all of
9.
this noise you're making on me.
Teacher, get there when he comes.
Teacher will get you when he comes. I have a race.
No time to waste.
No time to waste.
There are many voices in this life, and to be honest, many are not nice. So don't hear something and pick a knife, 'cause most of these things are nothing but lies. Teacher said be careful how you hear, 'cause there are talkatives here. They're everywhere. So silence the voices in your head no fears. I'm writing names of talkatives. All of this noise you're making on me. Teacher will get you when he comes. As for me, I have a race. No time to waste. No time to waste. I'm writing names of talkatives. I'm writing names of talkatives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Will get you when he comes. I have a race. Yeah. No time to waste. Can we talk? Yeah. Can we talk? Yeah. Call him, say talkative. Do you know any? Talkative. Yeah. Have you met any? Talkative. Can we write some? Talkative. List some names of talkatives. I am going now. Talkative. Yeah. Some friends are talkative. Some family members talkative. Some landlords are talkative. I said your exes are talkative. Your exes are talkative. Have you known any? Talkative. Move away far from talkative. Opinions are talkative. Bloggers talkative. Social media talkative. Old friends talkative. Some doctors report are talkative. Some symptoms are talkative. Addictions are talkative. Move away far from talkative. People's opinions are talkative. You are too fast. You are too slow. You talk too much. You are very quiet. Open makeup, dodo. Your face is so raw. You sing too much. You don't sing at all.
This is Starr Radio. This is Starr Radio UK.
She doesn't like me. Me too, I don't like her. All of these things are move away from run away from keep some distance from Do you know any talkative? Have you met any talkative? Do you know any talkative? So move away from yeah. Make your own list of talkative. They will break your heart. Talkative. Yeah. They will slow you down. Talkative. They will make you doubt yourself. Talkative. God is working so talkative. Will stop you from seeing talkative. What God is doing. Talkative. So move away from talkative. These people will stop you talkative. From seeing what God is doing. Talkative. So move away from talkative. So write these names of talkative. All of this noise they're making on you. Teacher will get them when he comes. You have a race. No time to waste. No time to waste. I'm no day.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Starr Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Orta, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I bring you the time now to exactement, as my friend will say, 11:15, and let's go into the stories that is making the rounds this morning, starting from updates from Niger. Okay, now I did talk about the EFCC that has invited head teachers who or school proprietors who are actually taking dollars as a form of payment for their fees, of course. It's quite an interesting one, isn't it? I'll be telling you more about all that. Well, and then some other stories. Bodija explosion. 3 persons have been arrested. The persons of interest who have been arrested. And a few more from there as well. So, don't touch the dot. Let me hit the ground. Okay, so let's start from here. Now, EFCC has invited school proprietors demanding payments in dollars. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has moved against persons issuing invoices in dollars, mutilating the naira, especially in Lagos and Port Harcourt. The move said understands in a bid to prevent the free fall of the Nigerian currency, the naira. EFCC spokesperson Dele Oyewale disclosed this in Abuja on Wednesday. Oyewale also revealed that the commission has summoned proprietors of private universities and other institutions of higher learning charging fees in dollars for questioning. According to him, the EFCC has also raised a special task force in all its zonal commands for enforcement of extant laws against currency mutilation and dollarization of the economy. Oyewale said the task force was recently inaugurated by the chairman of the commission, Ola Koyede. Now, according to him, the task force was raised to protect the economy from abuses, leakages, and distortions, exposing it to instability and disruption. He reiterated the Commission's commitment to the enforcement of all laws put in place for the stimulation of the economy. Now, do you think that schools that are demanding payment of fees in dollars are wrong? So, look at the inflation rate and the falling of the naira. So, if I say I peg let me say I'm running a Starr Radio UK school, and it's based in Lagos, where my Bishop Adeshina is. And let me say good morning to all of you in the RBS office as well. And then we come to say, you know what? We're going to be charging 100 naira. Let me put it that way, just for example sake. Yeah, 100 naira per term. Now, pegging it to, let's say, $50 per term. Just an example. And with the rate at which the naira seems to be falling, do you think that by the close of a month, or the end of a month, will I be getting the worth, that's the $50 worth of money that I'm charging students for? So that is why with the the free fall of the naira, that is why these schools are charging based, or they are charging in dollars instead of doing it the other way around. So what do you think? Do you think that it's up to those who are handling, or seeing to the economy, managing the economy, as the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Finance Ministry, and all those things in Nigeria, to put their acts together, get inflation down, get the dollarization of the economy down as well, get people to be using more of their currency, stop lots of the importation, stop making Dangote import crude oil from outside of the world, which then he also needs foreign exchange to do so, and all those things. You get it? And let's encourage local manufacturing sector. But somebody will say it's easier said than done. So I can sit behind my microphone and my console and just say whatever I want. But when it comes to reality, maybe that is not. But there are some people who are behind the scenes who are pushing this agenda. Yesterday they were talking about the fact that people were educating their children or educating themselves outside the country, and therefore they are the ones spending most of the foreign currency in paying their fees. But the question is, has the government been able to put their act together when it comes to education in Nigeria? What about hospitals? When it comes to healthcare, are our health institutions up to scratch? Well, this is all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let me congratulate Nigeria Super Eagles for beating the South Africans, Bafana. And if it had been the other way around, I would have congratulated Bafana as well. Yes, but a former House of Representatives member representing Ika Federal Constituency of Delta State, Cairo Ojugbo, has died. It was gathered that Ojugbo slammed and died in his Abuja office while watching Wednesday's AFCON semi-final game between Nigeria and South Africa. Reports said a 64-year-old former executive director of the Niger Delta Development Commission, the NDDC, died after a penalty was awarded to South Africa. I think his heart jumped, as we will say in our parlance. Well, his heart jumped and then it didn't land. Nigeria went on to win the game 4-2 on penalties after regulation time ended 1-1. Meanwhile, condolence messages have been sent to the family of Ojugbo over his death. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in a statement by spokesman Ajore Ngelale, described the death of the All Progressive Congress chieftain as a tragic loss. It is with a heavy heart that the President Bola Tinubu receives the news of the passing of Dr. Cairo Ojugbo, former executive director of the Niger Delta Development Commission, who died yesterday. Dr. Ojugbo was a member of the House of Representatives between 2003 and 2007 and a leader of the All Progressive Congress APC in the Delta State. President Tinubu condoles with the Ojugbo family and the government and the people of Delta State over this tragic loss. While praying for the peaceful repose of the departed, President Tinubu comforts his family and urges them to find strength and hope in God Almighty, who presides over the affairs of men, as well as the cherished memories and legacy of the late APC chieftain. May his soul rest in perfect peace. But it's quite an interesting one, you know. So you see, how can your heart just jump and then it's the grace of God, of course. It's loaded, yet he managed to die. What do you mean by that? Now, the House of Representatives asserted on Wednesday that 4 banks are holding approximately 5 billion naira in surplus foreign exchange, now signaling concerns about the volatility in Nigeria's foreign exchange market. Now, responding to this, the House directed the Joint Committee on Banking Regulations and Banking Institutions to undertake an investigative hearing into the failure of banks and financial institutions to adhere to Central Bank of Nigeria. The directive regarding net open position limits. This decision was reached following the adoption of a motion addressing an urgent national concern regarding the imperative for banks to adhere to the CBN guidelines on excess long foreign exchange holding and net open position limits. The motion, sponsored by Honorable Babajimi Benson, chairman of the House Committee on Defense, underscored the importance of enforcing CBN policies to maintain financial stability. During the debate, Honorable Benson emphasized the CBN's role in regulating the country's monetary policies as mandated by the CBN Act. He expressed dismay at the blatant disregard for existing financial regulation, urging swift action to address the issue and ensure compliance with the regulatory frameworks. Okay, so how would this work? Now, we're talking about people who are charging fees in dollars. Well, are they, getting the equivalent? Is it? But more going to be coming your way from there. It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Bodija explosion. 3 persons of interest have been identified and they are going to be prosecuted. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde has received the official report of the January 16, 2024 explosion at Adeyi Avenue, Bodija in Ibadan. Information coming through said the report which comprises findings of the medical security and engineering teams, was submitted to the governor on Tuesday at the executive chamber of the governor's office secretariat, Agodi, Ibadan. Addressing a press conference at the briefing room of the governor's office shortly after the presentation of the report, the special advisor on security to the governor, Kompo Fatai Owozin, retired, said 3 persons of interest have been identified in connection with the cause of the unfortunate incident. He added that the identified persons will face prosecution based on the investigation carried out. Owozini also clarified that the street where the incident happened is Adrinola Street and not Dejo Oyalesi Street, as earlier widely reported, adding that the epicenter of the tragedy is number 8A and not 8B. Owasheni also revealed that the character of the explosive is known as water gel type-based explosive, and that the explosion was triggered by an electric spark, explaining further that a closed-circuit television in one of the affected houses gave footage of how the incident happened. He assured that the state government will bring the perpetrators to book, adding that the government will check on the immigration status of all the people of interest, since a majority of them are from Mali. Well, listeners, this is Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, when it comes to Nigeria e-payment transaction, well, information coming through say that by the NIBSS says 600 trillion naira transaction took place in 2023. Now, data from the Nigeria Interbank Settlement System shows that Nigeria's transition to a cashless economy got a significant boost as electronic payment transaction recorded a significant leap from 387 trillion in 2022 to 600 trillion in 2023. The NIBSS reported that the value of the instant payment witnessed a significant increase of 55%, while the transaction volume for the year surged by 90% from 5.1 billion naira in 2022 to 9.7 billion in 2023. The e-payment data consistently indicated growth throughout the 12 months of the year, although month of December stood out with the highest recorded value. Nigerians made electronic transactions totaling 71.9 trillion naira in December 2023, as it was time of celebration and increased consumer expenditure. And the NIBSS electronic payment platform reached its highest ever monthly record, showing a significant milestone. The NIBSS indicator pointed out that the volume of e-payments reached a record-breaking 1.1 billion transactions in March 2023. Coincidentally, the surge in e-payment fell within the period of cash scarcity in Nigeria, forcing people to rely on electronic channels for their transaction. And that was one of the questions that we were asking during that time. How robust was the e-payment system in Nigeria? But apparently it worked well. Now, one story that was making the rounds sometime this week, which I did talk about on the platform, and I was asking people's views about it, where they were saying sachet alcohol in sachets, okay, actually fanning the flame of youth or children who are drinking. And I was asking the question: if somebody is able to just walk, and a child is able to just walk into a shop and just pick it up or buy it, or is it that they steal it and they can hide it in their bags and that's how they drink? Now, back in the day, somebody say you people were of a different listener. I don't remember. No, nothing of the sort. I have friends or colleagues or students, classmates or schoolmates who were doing that, but there was just a minority, just a small percentage of them who did that. But The Manufacturers Association of Nigeria has voiced its objection to the recent ban placed on spirit drinks in sachet and PET bottles less than 200 ml, stating that the reason the agency alluded for the ban were not backed by empirical evidence. Now, Mr. Shegun Ajayi Kadir, Director of the General of MAN, that is Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, disclosed this concern on Wednesday in Lagos while responding to the introduced by the bylaws introduced by the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control. Now, Ajayi Kadir explained that the ban aligns with an agreement reached by a tripartite committee established in 2018 by the Federal Ministry of Health to halt the production of alcohol in sachet and PET bottles of less than 200 ml. I have my water here, and let me see. This is 500 ml. So let's say 200. So let's say about that. Here in the UK, we have spirits that are in smaller bottles of the sort. Now, somebody doesn't want to go and buy a whole 1 liter bottle of maybe what are some of the drinks there? I don't drink, so I don't know them. Whiskey, okay, let's say whiskey or ogogoro or whatever. So just looking at that. Now you ask yourself the question: the person doesn't want to drink that much, and that's why they come in liters. So assuming there's a small bottle, let's say even 100 ml, it's even allowed. Then it shows. I mean, it doesn't make somebody who cannot control that habit go on to drink more. So at least that is all that the person is bought. And again, the question comes in when people who want to drink. I remember in the latter part of last year, there were some stories coming from Japan where people or the youth that stopped drinking, and therefore income or taxes that were coming from the sale of alcohol dropped drastically, and therefore the country or the government was doing everything to whip up people going on to consume alcohol, so that they can get money from there. So you see, okay, now, so if the government is saying, or the food and what do we call them again? Let me get their name again. The regulatory body. What is their name? Food and Drug Administration. Okay, and Control. Food and Drug Administration Control are saying that you cannot have a 200 ml bottle or container to have that drink, and then the ones in sachets should not be allowed because some children are drinking. What is the percentage? What is empirical figures that shows that actually we can see in that trend that from January to December 2022, this was the trend, and we could see that they were consuming so much, and the number of people consuming that let's say a large percentage of them were kids. Has there been any experiment of the sort? You got it. I'm not advocating for people who are drinking, but I'm advocating for common sense. Because if somebody who can drink, manages to drink just let's say 100 ml or 50 ml, can get that in a sachet, or what quantity will be in a sachet? Let's say 25 ml. That's what the person want to take. Now you're going to force the person to go and buy 500 ml. Okay? And that means that they drink a bit and think, oh, let me quaff a bit more. And they continue to quaff and quaff and quaff. And then they become intoxicated. So are we rather doing something that is going to push people into the abyss where they are going to be, drunks? What do you think? I want to have your take. Especially those of you who are listening to us from Nigeria this morning. This is Starr Radio UK. This is the favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let me see one more story from Nigeria, and we'll bring the updates to a close from there. Okay, now this time around, the vice president is also making a statement there. The vice president, Senator Kashim Shettima, will today inaugurate the committee that has been directed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to develop Nigeria Carbon Market Activation Plan. The Intergovernmental Committee, which is expected to guide the development of a national carbon market activation plan that will accelerate green growth and just energy transition, will be inaugurated at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. The federal government report, supported by the Carbon Market Initiative, will be working towards the implementation of a co-created blueprint aimed at positioning the country with the requisite frameworks and policies to drive an efficient and sustainable carbon market ecosystem with an estimated value of $2.5 billion. Oh, I love Nigeria. You mentioned big money. Yeah? Okay. There was one other story that eluded, and I'm trying to get that on. And that, oh my goodness. Just bear with me. Thing is eluded us. So we'll leave it, but God willing, maybe tomorrow we'll find it and then bring that your way. It was one of the ones that we wanted to touch on. Listeners, this is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to exactement 11:37. Let's take a quick break. We come back and we'll continue with the program. Don't touch the dial. Hey, Charlie, you're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy, you stressed out, tired. Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy, JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenated, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hey, Charlie, you're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy, you stressed out, tired. Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy, JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenated, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep. Welcome back to the program Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And as we said, if you are traveling to Ghana, then look for JN Mobile Spa. You just call them and they will be there for you, giving you all the massage and all the things that you need to make you relax. So by the time you come back, you'll be like, wow, I had a good rest. What about that? Wow. Okay, some breaking news coming through. I will bring that your way. This pertains to what is happening here in the UK. I was going to bring you one story pertaining to the relocating of some offices of the FAAC and the CBN to Lagos, where one of the outspoken people in Nigeria was saying it was a wrong move. Lagos wasn't the right place for it, but we will be okay. Let's bring that your way. Because my producer wanted us to touch on that. Now, the Senate Chief Whip, Ali Ndome, has dismissed claims of hating Yoruba people following his stance against relocating some departments of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, and Federal High Airport Authority from Abuja to Lagos. Now, Ndome claimed he cannot harbor hatred for the Yoruba nation because 2 of his daughters are married to men from the southwest and 5 children among them. Now, he lamented that his person had been subjected to media attacks due to his intervention, stressing that the subtle blackmail will not deter him from pointing out lapses in government. A statement by Ndome reads partly, "My 2 daughters are married to Yoruba men, one from Lagos State and the other from Kwara State, and I have 5 grandchildren who are Yoruba. How can I hate them and allow my daughters to marry them? Those saying I hate Yorubas, how many of their sons and daughters are married to Hausas or Northerners? I am a true Nigerian." He rests his case. What do you think about that? Quite an interesting one. So, well, the relocation, I'm not saying it because I am somebody who is against the Yorubas. Okay, let's move on to some other stories making the round. Well, in Kenya, a man awaiting extradition on a Massachusetts warrant alleging he killed his girlfriend and left her body in a car at Boston Airport escaped from police custody in Kenya, police have said. Now, Kevin Adam Kiyanjui Kangethi slipped out of the police station and jumped into a privately owned minivan. Nairobi Police Chief Adamson Bonger said a fresh search for him began since then. Now, 4 police officers who were on duty on the station are in custody and have recorded statements according to a police report seen by some newsmen. Now, the officers said around 4 p.m. on Wednesday, a man named John Maina Ndegwa introduced himself to the officers as Kangethi's lawyer and said he wanted to speak with his client. The officers agreed to his request and removed the prisoner from the cell and took him to an office, leaving them there. After a short while, the prisoner escaped by running away and left the lawyer behind, the report said. The officers pursued Kangate but did not catch him, the police report said, adding that Ndegwa was arrested. Nairobi Police Chief Adamson Bonger said he rushed to the station where he learned of the escape. We have arrested the officers who were on duty when he escaped to explain how it happened. It's just embarrassing to us, he said. Kangare, 40, had been detained pending a ruling on whether he should be extradited to face a first-degree murder charge in connection with the death of Margaret B2 on the 31st of October 2023. Massachusetts State Police said in early November that Kangethi had left her body in a car at Logan International Airport on board a a flight to Kenya. Massachusetts officials said they were working with Kenyan authorities to locate him, and he was arrested in a nightclub in January 30 after being on the run for 3 months. You're on the run. Why don't you just hide yourself? You see, yeah. He couldn't. He pumped out and he was nicked. Okay. In other stories making the rounds as well, one of Eastern Congo's most active rebel groups is attacking the community, considering the last line of defense before the region's largest city of Goma. Fleeing residents said on Wednesday, even as the rebels claimed they had no intention to seize it again. M23 rebels in a statement, however, warned that attacks targeting our forces and or indiscriminate shelling of civilian population will be dealt with at their source. The group rose to prominence a decade ago by seizing Goma, an important base for Congolese forces and for humanitarian workers. The M23, with allied tie to Rwanda, detonated explosive in North Kivu, Kivu's Sake city, 27 kilometers from Goma. Residents said as they hurried from fighting between rebels and security forces, bombs are being dropped in the city, said a resident, Alan Boma. We are fleeing, but we don't know where we are going to live. And that's why there's that song by the Osibisa, one of Ghana's oldest groups, that said, we are going, it's only heaven that knows where we are going. Some way, somehow, we know we will land somewhere. Listeners, this is Starr Radio UK. This is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. One more story from the African front, and then we will go to Ghana as well. At 11:47, the time. Okay, so the death penalty has been abolished in Zimbabwe. Wow, when I see the president's seat there, it's quite an interesting one. Oh boy. Now, Zimbabwe's cabinet agreed to abolish the death penalty for murder offenses almost 2 decades after its last execution. The cabinet on Tuesday approved the memorandum on the private members' death penalty abolition bill introduced to Parliament last year, bringing an end to the death penalty introduced in the Southern African nation by British colonial administrators. In an official statement, the Zimbabwe cabinet stressed the need to maintain a fair and balanced penal system where aggravating circumstances can result in life sentences. The last execution in Zimbabwe was in 2005, marking a decade and a half since the country renounced this controversial practice. The president, Emerson Mnangagwa, himself a former death row inmate during the struggle for independence from British rule, played a central role in his historic decision. He has gone through that challenge, and therefore, that is the right person to advocate for its abolishment. Well, it's been abolished. But what next? South Africa. What next for Zimbabwe? Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and American radio station in London. In South Africa, Malema has been banned from attending State of the Nation speech. Why? A South African court on Tuesday upheld the ban on opposition parties party leaders from attending President Cyril Ramaphosa's speech this week to mark the opening of the new parliamentary session after they were sanctioned for disrupting the event a year ago. The leader, deputy leader, and 4 other representatives of the economic freedom fighters, the third largest party in parliament, will not be allowed to attend the State of the Nation's address on Thursday. That's today. The 6 MPs were suspended from Parliament from February 1 to 29. They were among a group of EFF members who were ordered out of the room by the Speaker for interrupting Mr. Ramaphosa's 2023 speech, but instead of leaving the group, led by EFF President Julius Malema, jumped on stage and held up signs calling on Mr. Ramaphosa to step down before security forced them out. The EFF MPs disrupted parliamentary sessions and fought with security officers on several occasions. Mr. Malema, EFF's Deputy President Floyd Shivambu, and the other MPs took legal action to appeal their suspension after being rejected. He filed another appeal asking that the new parliamentary rules under which they were suspended be declared invalid. The Western Cape High Court dismissed the appeal on Tuesday. Mr. Malema, who was expelled from the ruling party in 2012, is known for his controversial policies and has previously been accused by South African-born billionaire Elon Musk of being anti-white and stoking racial tension. Now, the left-wing EFF claims to represent South Africa's poor black majority, which it says has been disillusioned by the African National Congress-led government and remains poor due to legacy of the apartheid system of racial segregation, which ended 30 years ago. Their policies are sometimes described as anti-white by the detractors. Detractors. Well, listeners to Starr Radio UK, it is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to exactly 8 minutes to the top of the hour, and I take you straight to Ghana, where we're going to be looking at some of the stories that is making the rounds there as well. Well, Dr. Bawumia has made some speeches, and it looks like that speech that is made is causing lots of rifts. And people saying that he is trying to, let me put it this way, disalign himself or disassociate himself from the current president in government. Well, he's been the second in command. Why is it that he's now trying to say, you know what, though I hold that position, there are others who are actually the movers and the shakers? The conspicuous absence of the finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, was yesterday felt at the New Patriotic Party's flag bearers once again voiced his opposition to electronic financial transaction taxes, commonly referred to as the e-levy, firmly pledging to eliminate the levy if elected as president of Ghana in the upcoming December election. It is quite interesting, isn't it? Now, Vice President Dr. Bawumia has additionally disclosed plans for a new tax regime under his government, which includes abolition of the emission tax, betting taxes, and promised 15% VAT on electricity tariffs. The latter to take effect if implemented January 2025. Now, interestingly, President Nana Akufo-Addo was equally absent from the Dr. Bawumia's public forum dubbed Bawumia Speaks in Accra on Wednesday at the Kofi Ohene Konedu Auditorium of the University of Professional Studies in Accra. Similarly, the president's trusted cousin Gabi Ochiri-Darko was not cited at the venue. He was busy on social media X tweeting about the Côte d'Ivoire 2023 AFCON and wishing for an all-West African clash at Sunday's final between Nigeria and the host country he wishes came through. Now, this is not the first time, the first instance where Dr. Bawumia has expressed discontent with the e-levy. Prior to passage of 2022, he openly opposed it during a live interview with one of Ghana's sound presenters. Now, despite the vice president's reservations, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta ignored the head of the government's economic management team and swiftly presented the 2022 budget and economic statement to Parliament, advocating for adoption of the levy, even in the face of public outcry. The event was on the theme Ghana Next Chapter, Selfless Leadership and Bold Solutions for the Future, which enabled the NPP flag bearer for the December election to outline his vision and priority policies for the nation if elected. Now, he's part of the He is part of the ruling government. He is a vice president. Can he actually disassociate himself from some policies that actually has somehow hurt, let me put it that way for lack of words, Ghanaian citizens? Do you think he can? Well, it's quite an interesting one there. It is all coming away from Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. In reaction to that, a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana, Professor Kobi Mensah, has reacted to the Vice President's promise to cancel some of the taxes introduced by his government if he becomes president of Ghana on January 7. Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, the flag bearer of the ruling New Patriotic Party, at an event to announce his vision for Ghana Wednesday, February 7, said he would abolish taxes on electronic transactions, gambling and emissions if he is elected president in the upcoming general election. Taxes on gambling will be scrapped under my administration, he said. But reacting to this in a post shared on X, Professor Kobi Mensah asserted that Dr. Bawumia's promise to cancel taxes his own government has introduced is an admission that the government has failed. He likened the vice president's promise to a market woman telling his customers that her products are bad. Only Bawumia can go to customers and say, "You see, the products we are selling, they are trash," he wrote on X. I do think making such statement and sort of disassociating himself from the bad policies, let me put it that way, from the ruling government, has gained him any favor, or this has actually put a nail right in the coffin. What do you think? It is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, not only that professor, but Professor Jempo, a senior lecturer at the political science lecturer at the University of Ghana, has also said that. Now, Dr. Bawumia has also said that he has stated that part of the representation by Vice President Bawumia on his vision ahead of 2024 election condemned his own government. Commenting on the presentation delivered by the Vice President, the senior political science lecturer questioned why the Vice President is not taking immediate action on some of the promises. Part of this representation was an indictment on the government of which he is part, in a manner that raises serious questions and vindicates those of us who have been critics of the government, promising to have not more than 50 ministers when you are part of the government, over 100 ministers, and promising to abolish some taxes like the emission, blah blah blah, on electricity consumption, etc., makes some of us feel vindicated by criticizing and calling for downsizing of the government and abolition of such nuisance taxes, Professor Jempo stated. He continued, DMB's supporters came after us for such criticisms, and I am wondering whether they will go after him now that he's taking a position that responds favorably to our criticism on the sides of government and nuisance taxes. Do you think he's going to do so? He's not going to do. But what do you think this statement that is made, how do you think has impacted Dr. Bawumia? Well, listeners, let's start Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. However, the Ministry of Finance has suspended the planned implementation of 15% VAT on electricity. This comes on the back of trade unions and 35 organized labor unions announced to embark on a demonstration on February 13. In a bid to walk the talk, organized labor was officially written to the place to demonstrate on all the 16 regions. Now, however, in a statement issued by the Public Relations Unit of the Finance Ministry, said it has halted the intended implementation of for further engagements. On behalf of the government, Ministry of Finance would like to inform ECG NEDCO to suspend the implementation of the VAT directive pending further engagement with key stakeholders, including organized labor. The ministry expects that engagement will birth innovative, robust, and inclusive approaches to bringing or bridging the existing fiscal gap while bolstering economic resilience, the ministry has said. Well, listeners, this is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. One final story from Ghana, and then we bring that update from there to a close. And this pertains to Archie. Now, the Disciplinary Committee of the General Legal Council has dismissed a petition filed by the Member of Parliament for Asin North, James Archie against the Attorney General, Godfrey Yeboah Dame. The legislator, Mr. Kwesi, in August last year, petitioned the GLC over what he described as misconduct by the AG. In court on Wednesday, February 7, Director of Public Prosecution, Mrs. Yvonne Atakora Obuabisa, while posing to an application from Mr. Kwesi over a missing July 19, 2023 proceedings, told the court that the petition has been dismissed. My lady, that petition by James Kwesi have been dismissed by the General Legal Council because there was no prima facie established by the council, Mrs. Obuabisa told the court. The counsel for James Kwesi, lawyer Chachu Shikata, in his response expressed surprise at the news at the court or to the court. The DPP also claimed that the Disciplinary Committee of General Legal Commission has dismissed the request made by the applicant for disciplinary proceedings against the Attorney General. This is the first we are hearing of this, and this being a court of record, we would have expected the DPP will provide a copy of the decision of the Disciplinary Committee of the General Legal Council to court, Mr. Chikata expressed. In the letter to the chairman of the Disciplinary Committee of the General Legal Council, Mr. Kwesi catalogued a number of reasons for the misconduct of the AG, including human rights issue. Listeners, this is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now we're going to be bringing you all the other stories that is making the rounds in other parts of the world as well. But before I take a break, musical break, and come back to you, Scotland's Health Secretary Michael Matheson has resigned after he had £11,000 bill on his parliamentary iPad while on holiday. How? Was he just spending, buying chicken, steak, having champs, or what? You want to know more? Stay tuned, and I'll bring you more on that front. Stay tuned. Toe dog.
Èmi ò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè mi. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́ o. Èmi fòmìnira fórílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Mi ò polongo fáráyé. Èmi ò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè yóò. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́ o. Èmi fòmìnira fórílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. kó bèrè fún kọ̀lọ̀kọ̀lọ̀ rárá kó jọra. Ọ̀pọ̀ ojú wa dìde ó sì pọ̀ ẹ̀tọ́ bàbá rẹ̀. Èmi yóò pọ̀ lóko aráyé. Èmi yóò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè mi. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́. Èmi fòmìnira orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Mi ò pọ̀ lóko aráyé. Èmi yóò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè yóò. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́. Èmi fòmìnira orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Ìlú tán lọ́rùn fẹ́ lọ lọ́rùn yọ. Èyí tó yàn ló tún ṣe lọ́kọ̀. Bàbá fẹ́ wá, ó tún yọ wá. Wọ́n ṣe wá lọ́kọ̀, ó tún wá fá lọ́kọ̀ nísìn. Èmi yóò pọ̀ lọ́kọ̀ aráyé. Èmi yóò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè mi. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́. Èmi fòmìnira orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Mi ò pọ̀ lọ́kọ̀ aráyé. Èmi yóò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè yóò. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́. Èmi fòmìnira orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Ọlọ́run dìde jọ̀wọ́ má ṣe wòran mọ́. Ìyà ìsọ̀kẹ́ kò pọ̀ jù lórílẹ̀-èdè. Ṣé bí wọ́n ló gbé àwọn ebèrú dìjà? Bàbá mi dìde jọ̀wọ́ jẹ́ rí ara rẹ̀. Mi ò mọ̀ lóko aráyé. Èmi ò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè yóò. Sọ́wọ́rọ̀ yìí. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́. Èmi fòmìnira orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Èmi ò mọ̀ lóko aráyé. Èmi ò mọ̀ lóko orílẹ̀-èdè mi. Ìbá mi sọ̀rọ̀ ìtùnú sílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ìmọ̀ fẹ́ o. Àní ọmọlẹ́dẹ̀ jẹun bí.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Star Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Orta, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program Star Radio UK. In the latter part of the program this morning or this afternoon, now at 9 minutes past the top of the hour. Now we'll go to other parts of the world to look at some of the Okay. Listeners, Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, now let's move on to the latter part of the program, as I was saying, and look at the stories that is making the rounds in other parts of the world. Another breaking news that has come through: a former soldier is to be charged with murder of a man in Belfast and an attempted murder of 6 others during their trouble more than 50 years ago. Oh boy. All right. Now, last year was hot. I remember last 2 years, was it last 2 years? We went for graduation of my daughter, in Birmingham, and whilst we were on our way back, we could see smoke billowing, and there was fire in some areas. Okay, Wellington, yes, not Wellington, and there was fire there, and we could see last year the speed of fires in Europe and all that stuff. I think last year UK managed to avoid or evade that. They were flooding though. And this year we've had that of Chile, and that is going on. However, the story that is coming on says that for the first time, global warming had exceeded 1.5 Celsius across an entire year, according to the EU's climate service. Now, world leaders promised in 2015 to try to limit the long-term temperatures rise to 1.5 C, which is seen as crucial to help avoid the most damaging impact. This first year, Long Beach doesn't break the landmark's Paris Agreement, but it does bring the world closer to doing so in the long term. Now, urgent actions to cut carbon emissions can still slow warming, scientists are saying. Now, this far exceeds anything that is acceptable. Professor Sir Bob Watson, former chair of the UN climate body, said. Now, look what's happened this year with only 1.5 degrees C. We've seen floods, we've seen droughts, we've seen heat waves and wildfires all over the world. Now, the period from February 2023 to January 2024 reached, that is 1.52 C of warming, according to EU's Copernicus climate change services. The following graphs, there's a graph that shows the rise from 0.5, rising. That's 0.5 in 1940. It was less than that in 1940. Rising to sometime in 1980s to 0.5, and then in the 2000 rising up to 1 degree, and now 1.5 going on. So, what is the best way forward for all of us? The latest climate warming comes amid news that the Labour Party is ditching its policy of spending $28 billion a year on a green investment plan in a major U-turn. The Conservatives also pushed back on some key targets in September. Now, this means that the UK's two main parties have scaled back the types of pledges that many climate scientists say are needed globally if the worst impacts of the climate warming, global warming, are to be avoided. Now, the world sea surface is also at its highest ever recorded average temperature, yet another sign of widespread nature of climate records. As the chart below, another chart below shows, is particularly notable given that ocean temperatures don't normally peak for another month or so. So 2023, well, it's dropped to about 20.5 C. Quite interesting, isn't it? Okay, it's about thereabout, but it's climbing. Well, listeners, this is what come your way from Starr Radio UK. What do you think we can do about the weather? The environment. Yeah, what can you do? Well. In Pakistan, election is taking place. Pakistan has suspended mobile calls and data services as millions head to the polls to vote in a new government. An Interior Ministry spokesman said the measure was warranted, citing recent incident of terror in their country. The elections comes almost 2 years since the previous Prime Minister, cricketer turned politician Imran Khan was ousted in a no-confidence vote. Now, 3 times Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif is now on the ballot in what many analysts say is Pakistan's least credible election yet. Now, Khan was jailed on corruption charges last year and is barred from standing. Now, both calls and data services have been suspended, though Wi-Fi networks still appear to be working. Information coming through says they were shocked. Some networks say they were shocked at the decision, saying voters should be facilitated instead of having to be met with such hurdles. Another said she was expecting a blanket shutdown. Now, many voters in the city of Lahore told some reporters that the internet blockout meant it was not possible to book taxis to go and vote, while others said they couldn't chat to other family members to coordinate when to head to the polling station. Now, justifying the move, an Interior Ministry spokesman said, as a result of the recent incident of terrorism in the country, precious lives have been lost. Security measures are essential to maintain law and order in situations and to deal with potential threats. Now, 2 bomb blasts killed 28 people in Balochistan province on Wednesday. The shutdown was also criticized by Bilwal Bhutto Zardari, son of murdered ex-Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto, who called for service to be restored immediately. Mr. Bhutto, who is also running for the top job, said Pakistan People Party, that's the PPP, had approached the Election Commission and the courts to get services restored. The country is on high alert with a heavy security presence at polling stations across the country. One station in Lahore visited had armed guards at the entrance and army officers roaming around the area. Well, it's that to bolster the security for the people and create confidence so that they'll be able to vote. Why not? But the question again is, how will the result be transmitted to the various polling stations? How do they do that? And they are having opaque voting boxes. How do we know that there's nothing in it when it was brought in? Quite interesting, right? Well, when people are saying that there is corruption, there is corruption. But what do you think about all that? This is Starr Radio UK. This is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, Putin's challenger, Boris Nadezhdin, has been barred from Russia's election. Ha ha ha! Am I surprised or am I surprised? Now, Russia's election commission has rejected anti-war challenger Boris Nadezhdin as a candidate in next month's presidential vote. Mr. Nadezhdin has been relatively critical of Vladimir Putin's full-scale war in Ukraine when few dissenting voices have been tolerated in Russia. Now, election authorities claim more than 15% of the signatures are submitted with his candidate's applications were flawed. That was submitted with his candidate's applications were flawed. He had tried to challenge this, but the commission rejected his bid. Refusing to give up, Mr. Nadezhdin, 16, said on social media that he would challenge the decision in Russia's Supreme Court. The Central Election Commission said that of the 105,000 signatures submitted by Mr. Nadezhdin, more than 9,000 were 105,000. More than 9,000 were invalid, and they cited a variety of violations. They left 95,587 names, meaning he was just short of 100,000 required. Signatures to register as a candidate, commission member Andrei Chutov said, "There are tens of millions of people here who are going to vote for me." Mr. Nadezhdin complained to the commission. According to all polls, I am in second place after Putin. The decision has been made, declared Commission Chairman Ella Pamvilova. If Nadezhdin wants, he can go to court. TASS news agency quoted her as saying, now Russia's presidential election is due to take place from the 15th to the 17th of March. Although the result is not in doubt, as only candidates viewed as acceptable to the Kremlin are running. The final decision on who can take part in the election will come on Saturday, but the Election Commission chairwoman said it was already clear there will be 4 candidates on the ballot. Other than Vladimir Putin, they include nationalist leader Leonid Slutsky, Parliament Deputy Speaker Vladislav Davnavkov, and Communist Nikolai Kharitonov. All their parties have broadly backed Kremlin's policies, and none of the trio is seen as a genuine challenger. Interesting. Well, that's what they believe in. So as I sit here, I champion the cause of what the Western world is championing, right? And they also are championing whatever they think their country needs to get them to the place that they really want to be. So, well, everybody's got a right to decide his own destiny. But it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. The US Supreme Court will wade into uncharted legal waters on Thursday as it considers if Donald Trump should be barred from running for president. The justice will weigh if Colorado can strike Mr. Trump off its ballots after finding he engaged in insurrection over the US Capitol riot. Their decisions will also determine if similar bids to keep Mr. Trump off the ballot in other states are valid. He is the definitive frontrunner for the Republican Party's candidate. Unless the justice rule against Mr. Trump, he looks likely to challenge Democratic President Joe Biden in November. It is the most consequential such case to reach the court since it halted the Florida vote recount in 2000, handing the White House to Republican George W. Bush over Democrat Al Gore. So let's see what is going to happen there. But back in the day, they were saying, we don't think that there should be a recount. And then when it came to Trump, some of his supporters, the Republicans, are saying that, you know what, it's the people who have to decide on whether they still want him or not. Though he might have done something that is not right, yet it's not the court that have to decide, that the people. But this time around, because it's going to go against them, that's why they're saying that. Let's see what happens on that front. But listeners, this is Starr Radio UK. This is the Thursday edition of the morning show. And I am Archie. A final story. Then we come to the UK front. Singer Eden Gonan has been chosen to represent Israel at the Eurovision Song Contest as organizers face calls to ban the country over the war in Gaza. Now, Russia was banned. So can they ban Israel as well? Now, Golan, 20, was selected in a TV talent show after performing Aerosmith's I Don't Want to Miss a Thing. She dedicated the song to the more than 130 Israeli hostages still being held in Gaza. We won't truly be okay until everyone returns home, she said. But musicians in several countries have called for Israel to be suspended. In December, Iceland Association of Composers and Lyricists published a statement saying Israel's military action in Gaza made its participation incompatible with an event characterized by joy and optimism. Do you think that will bring about a change in everything that is going on? Will it stop the war or pause it as per whatever is going on before the Eurovisions? And what will happen there? Listeners, Starr Radio UK. In the UK front as well, at 12:23, a couple of stories. Now, Michael Madison, Scotland's health secretary, has quit over iPad row. Scotland's health secretary, Michael Madison, has resigned ahead of a report into an £11,000 bill that was racked up on his parliamentary iPad. Mr. Madison said he was standing down because he did not want the row over the bill to become a distraction. The iPad charges initially paid out of the public purse were incurred during a family trip to Morocco in late 2022. When details of the bill were first made public, he said the device had only been used for parliamentary work, but he subsequently admitted that his sons had used the iPad as a data hotspot so they could watch football. He has since paid back the bill in full and apologized. His resignation comes ahead of the publication of an investigation into the incident by the Scottish Parliament corporate body, which has been examining whether Mr. Madison made an improper expense claim. In his resignation letter to First Minister Hamza Yusuf, Mr. Madison said he had still not received the corporate body's report. He added, however, it is in the best interest of myself and the government for me to now step down to ensure this government does not become a distraction taking forward the government's agenda. When news of the IPAD bill first emerged in November, Mr. Yusuf initially described it as a legitimate expense. After Mr. Madison admitted his sons had been involved, the First Minister resisted calls to sack him and denied he had been misled by the Health Secretary. Mr. Yusuf accepted resignation with sadness. Listeners, Starr Radio UK, the final, a couple of other stories, and then we bring the program to a close for today. Now, Heston Blumenthal restaurant among those targeted in cloning scam. Now, restaurant owned by some of the U.S. best-known chefs have been cloned as part of an emerging identity theft scam. Heston Blumenthal, Yotim Ottolenghi, and Ritz have all been targeted by fraudsters who then open bank accounts and apply for loans. Oh boy! Now, more than 750 fake firms have been registered, often with misspelled names, in the last 6 weeks. The company's house has begun an investigation. The information coming through said that, which is causing a major headache for individuals and businesses by fraud expert Graham Barrow. He says company's house, the UK's central registry of companies, is not fit for purpose and should carry out more checks. For only a small sum, scammers can register a business online with company's house, usually within 24 hours after that. They are then able to steal overdraft money from the bank's account set up in the name of the fake company they have cloned and other high-value goods from suppliers keen to fulfill lucrative orders from a new high-profile client. Goods are then delivered in transit and invoices left unpaid. In many cases, clone restaurants have been registered with very similar names to real businesses, usually with a slight misspelling. In other cases, fraudsters have misspelled a restaurant address such as ZZ, Cambridge, that is CAA Bridge, one character away from the Italian chain ZZ, that is ZIZZI in Cambridge. Okay, scammers have to provide the identity of at least one director per registration. It is likely they are using names obtained from social media profiles or via data lakes. There's been this rise of identity theft and the requirement for all of us to provide bills, passports, or a driving license, even if you want to get a library ticket from your local council. Mr. Barrow says company's house requires none of that. He said it was scandalous. The situation has been allowed to continue without any intervention whatsoever. Next month, the body will get new powers to tackle fraudulent registration, but tougher checks will take longer to be introduced. Listeners, this is Starr Radio UK. This is the morning show, and very good story for men. Interesting. You might be able to avoid Alzheimer's if you take Viagra. Now, men who take drugs for erectile dysfunction, such as Viagra, may reduce their risk of Alzheimer's disease, a study has suggested. I think their wives will be beating them like no, and their girlfriends will be beating them like no man's business. In research on more than 260,000 men, those taking the drugs were 18% less likely to develop the dementia-causing condition. But more research is needed to prove that the drugs are causing the effect. Now, 2 new Alzheimer's drugs have shown huge promise to slowing the pace of the disease in its earlier stages by attacking gunge called beta amyloid, which builds up in the brain of people with Alzheimer's. They have the potential to change the way the disease is treated. But scientists are also continuing to look for existing drugs that could prevent or delay it developing in the first place. Listeners, this is Starr Radio UK, and this is where I bring the program to a close for today. It's been a pleasure coming your way, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else than to be with you this morning. We'll take a commercial break and I bring you some music and I bring the program to a close. And on that note, it's with me, Archie. Have a wonderful day. See you all tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Thanks for listening.